Yo, so I just got home from work, so I'm on my phone. But in today's video, I want to talk about favoritism when it comes to your houseplants. Let's not act like that doesn't exist. So if you collect aeroids or you have a lot of houseplants in your house, it's safe to say that you're gonna like some more than others. So in this video, I want to take two different plants that are similar in some type of a way, talk a little bit about each one, then let you know which one is my favorite plants. Welcome to the start of a new series called My Favorite Plant. Is where I take two different plants that I own and I compare them and let you know which one is my favorite plant. So they have to be reasonably similar, and what I mean by reasonably similar is maybe they have the same color, the same texture, maybe they're a part of the same genus, maybe they have the same growth pattern. You get the gist of it. They just have to be reasonably similar in some type of a way. So picking a favorite plant is definitely subjective. There's a lot of reasons why you may like one plant over the other. Maybe it's the color, the texture, maybe it's the history of how you obtain that plant. You know, some people like a plant better if it grows easier. And I even know some people who like a plant that's a challenge to keep alive. So there's various reasons why you may like one plant over the next. But we have a special guest stopping through to get in on this. He's going to compare one of his plants to mine, and then we'll leave it in the air which plant is the favorite. You pick your favorite, and it's no shade, no snobbiness, because that's not even my get down. And we're going to kick this thing off. So my favorite plants. So the first two plants that I want to go head to head is the Philodendron Milano Chrysum versus the Philodendron gigas. There we go. Okay, so here they are. The Philodendron Milano Chrysum is a little bit more popular, so we'll start with that one. So the Milano Chrysum is a classic aeroid. I feel like this one is just one of those velvet leaf staples when it comes to philodendron, right alongside of the Philodendron gloriosum. But this one has its own special features because, as you can see, the Milano Chrysum has like a long, elongated leaf. And if you don't know already, I got this one at the Equigenera pop-up, and it is still acclimating. So as you can see, it's just flopping around. Look how it just shake. It just be dancing. Like when I turn the fan on, it just be dancing in the wind, like that picture from Good Times. Yep. But nevertheless, the leaves never turn brown, never turn yellow, didn't drop leaves. It's still holding on to, let's see here, about 4 leaves. So just having that long leaf with the velvety texture, you have like, the prominent veins going on here, and just the size of it. And one thing I like about this plant is I'm never gonna forget the feeling that I got, how happy I was when I pulled this out of the bag and it was actually a big Milano Chrysum. So in previous years, I've been in a situation where I've been stuck with this little juvenile Milano Chrysum. And I'm pretty sure you all know that these things have like, how do I say it? Like they have an issue in the labor and delivery department. Like every new leaf will get stuck, and this plant just doesn't know how to push. It doesn't know how to push the new leaf out and unfurl. It'll just rip and damage itself. So, I hear that when it gets mature like this, it doesn't have that problem. So I'm happy that I finally got a mature specimen. If this would just hurry up and acclimate, it's not a good sign that this leaf is just dangling like that, but it's also a good sign that it hasn't yellowed and dropped. So another thing that I should add is that I bought this plant from Equigenera. I pre-ordered it and then picked it up at the Equigenera pop-up. Equigenera is selling this plant for $39. I got an extra 20% off. So all in all, I got this nice Milano Chrysum for around 30 bucks. But overall, I'm really happy that I have this plant, and it just looks great. It's, one of the best looking plants out there. When you talking about aeroids, this puts the air in aeroids, I guess. Yeah, I really like it. So let's go ahead and bounce over to the Gigas. Gigas. I just learned that you're supposed to pronounce it with the letter J, kind of like gigantic, even though it starts with a G. So Philodendron gigas. As you can see, it's very similar to the Milano Chrysum, but when it's juvenile, it doesn't have the veination of this one. But when it gets mature, it will have those same type of veins. And one thing about the gigas is it will get just as long as the Milano Chrysum, but it will actually get wider. And just having that wider, larger leaf, I feel like this one is gonna be dope. And you can actually see some difference in the coloration. The gigas actually has a darker velvet going on compared to the Milano Chrysum. And one special feature about the gigas is the new leaf comes out really gold, like sparkly gold or even copper colored. I think the Milano Chrysum, the new leaf is also copper colored, but this one is like legit gold, almost like this fake Cuban link that I got on. But for real, like, this one is a lot easier when it comes to care. So I don't know, one of these two, once they get, to maturity, I want one to go in my living room. And being that this one has easy care, I can't really say this is a mature specimen, and I don't really know if it is a lot easier than the gigas. One thing I can say is that once the gigas gets growing, it will put out new leaves very quickly. Okay, so if I had to choose between these two, I'm gonna go ahead and stick beside the Philodendron gigas. I really like this plant, and see, the reason why I choose this one over the Milano Chrysum is because all of the features that the Milano Chrysum has, the Philodendron gigas will eventually get them. So having a long shaped leaf, like the Milano Chrysum, the gigas is gonna have that. Those veins, the gigas actually develops veins once it gets mature, and they'll be like the prominent white veins, just like the Milano Chrysum. Plus, this plant is easy. Like, it will grow in all of the conditions that I put it in, like low humidity, lower light, everything. This plant just goes crazy. And then the special feature of that bright gold color leaf just popping out, I like that. And it's kind of like an underdog. Like, I don't know why this plant is not tissue cultured and sold by Equigenera itself, at least, because it's a lot easier to care for than the Milano Chrysum. And I hope to have a big one of these one day just in my living room, because I know that it will do well in most of the places that I put it. So big up to the Philodendron gigas, because that's my pick between these two. I love them both, but if I had to go ahead and pick a favorite, it's definitely gonna be this one. So next up, we got something a little bit different. We have the battle of the lipstick plants. We have the black pagoda versus the curly lipstick plant. Let's hit it off. Okay, so here they are right here. The black pagoda and the curly lipstick plant. So I have to tell you, both of them are lipstick plants. They're in the same genus, and the reason why they're called lipstick plants is because the flower, if I can get a good example of one, the flower looks like a mouth that has lipstick on it. So it looks like, someone's mouth that's halfway open, and it has the red lipstick around it. So we're gonna start with the black pagoda. So with the black pagoda, it actually has the same type of flower, but it does not have a red color. It comes out with like a greenish flowers. So it's not impressive. Like, don't nobody want to see a green flower. I mean, the plant is already green. But the special feature on this one is the pattern on the leaves. So I don't know, I always had these crazy examples, but I feel like this one kind of has like a giraffe pattern. And if you take a look at the underside of the leaf, you get like a purple color with the pattern on the underside also. So this plant grows upright, and then it'll just start to cascade down once it gets longer. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that I really like about this plant. I have a lot of history with the black pagoda. It looks really good with certain type of decor in your house, like certain type of wood textures. It looks really good up against certain color like wood textures. It looks good up against the black cement wall that I have outside. So I feel like this can contribute to certain type of decor that you have in your house, and that is one of the reasons why I like it. And yeah, so let's move on to the curly lipstick plant. One thing about the curly lipstick plant, I bought this plant because I felt like it was a good alternative to the Hoya compacta. As you can see, it's a normal lipstick plant. It's just that they cultivate it to where the leaves kind of curl up, and it looks kind of like a rope, just like the Hoya compacta. But contrary to the Hoya compacta, this one is gonna flower profusely. It's gonna flower like all the time. And as you can see, it'll get really long. And I felt like both of these are good hanging plants. But if I had to choose between these two, I will have to say that the black pagoda is my favorite. I have a long history with the black pagoda. I didn't know much about plants when I got my first one, and just how big it was. Like it looked so good on the wooden fence that I used to have it on, and that's the reason why I ran out and got another one. I got this one, and just like I guessed, it looks really good up against the black cement wall I got in my backyard. The curly lipstick plant, it gives vibes. I think it's a good Hoya compacta alternative because it grows quicker and it grows just as long. So I think both of them are standout plants. Like if you have a lot of greenery, I think both of these would stand out amongst like everything, you know, that's green. But when it comes to an outdoor setting, I feel like both of these do best. If you're gonna bring one of them indoors, I probably would go for the black pagoda. So we have a visitor stopping by, and it is none other than Lethius from the YouTube channel Roots Ready. I'm a big fan of the YouTube channel Roots Ready because Lethius, he has a cool vibe, very well spoken, plant collection is fire. So today he's gonna stop by and compare one of his favorite plants to one of my favorite plants. I think that'd be fun. So coming all the way from the UK, Lethius, wagwan, let them know.
What is up, my planting people? My name is Lethius and I am a plant enthusiast from the other side of the pond, from the UK. I'm also over on YouTube on @RootsReady. Dave has invited me on here today to talk about this plant right here, the queen of Anthuriums. Just a gorgeous plant, and tell you why I think it's just great. I must say right off the bat that this is one of my favorite Anthuriums. And you know what? That's not only my opinion. I think you'll find that in the houseplant collector world, that this plant is really the pinnacle for a lot of people. When you talk about a rare plant, oftentimes people think about this plant right here, the Queen Antherium, and for good reason. Just take a look at these leaves, guys. Oh, just look at that. Like, what more can you ask for? You've got these long leaves, just luxurious. It looks really royal, you know, by the name goes. The veinage that goes down this leaf is just absolutely gorgeous. It's iridescent. If you catch it in the right light, it glistens. It's unbelievable. When this plant matures as well, it takes on a different form. So at the moment, you notice that mine only has just some little tiny lobes at the top there, right? But as this plant matures, these lobes are going to become more prominent, and it's going to look really, really sort of heart-shaped, and those, yeah, it's just going to look amazing. I can't wait to see it. I will say that this plant is definitely fussy. As you can see from this leaf over here, there's no hiding it. I've only found that this leaf only tends to hold about 2 leaves at a time. Currently, I'm keeping it in like humidity levels of about 50%, and you know, I could get it into a greenhouse and really try to give it optimal conditions, which this plant loves. It loves this high humidity, but I'm trying to get it to acclimate to sort of normal-ish environments. But as I say, the reason for this is because every time this plant sort of puts out a new growth, as you can see over here, there's a little one poking its head out, it starts to draw nutrients from the other leaves. So it is a bit more of a difficult plant. You sort of have to be on your game a lot more with this plant. But I find that that's part of the sort of the excitement and the joy as well, because, you know, often people just see plants as, you know, something you stick in a corner, you water it whenever you remember or you feel like it. With this plant, you sort of have to give it a lot more attention, and I kind of like that. So you never know what you're gonna get with this plant. It's definitely more of a challenge, but you know, I'm here for it. Now there are a lot of, you know, lookalikes of this plant on the market these days, and I'm sure, Dave, you're going to tell them about it. But what I'm going to say is nothing can compete with this. You know, the other lookalikes, they're fraudsters, man. They're imposters. That's what I say, because nothing can replace this plant right here. The royalty really is just beautiful. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Like, what more can I say about this plant? It's just fabulous. It looks the part. It's just great. And as I said, as it grows and as it continues to mature, this plant it's just gonna steal the show every single time. Even though this leaf over here is looking like it's about to kick the bucket, just that leaf on its own, just the one leaf, is just oof. Yeah, it's lovely. But that's what I think is great. I'd love to know what you guys think. And that's it, guys. The Queen Antherium. Boom.
So in comparison to the Queen Antherium, I have the Antherium Sirenoid Velvet. And you know, Lethius was right, because this Antherium Sirenoid Velvet falls into the line of Antheriums that are lookalikes to the Queen Antherium. You know, you got the Kira Malins and a few others that are lookalikes to the Queen Antherium. But I'll tell you this plant is starting to come into its own. Like, I'm starting to see a lot more people post pictures of these on Instagram. So I feel like people are starting to take notice, and it's coming into its own. But right off the rip, one of the advantages I think that this plant has over the Queen Antherium is that, check this out. 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3, 4, 5. And I actually, when I first bought this home, if you don't know, I got this in my last Ecuagenera haul, and I stuck it in water for a couple days to acclimate it because it was an import. And just after 2 weeks, it grew this new leaf. And this leaf is still expanding, still hardening off. So I'm curious to see what these leaves look like the more that they mature. So this plant holds on to a lot more leaves. And also, even the juvenile leaves have prominent lobes, contrary to the Queen Antherium, where it's a little bit narrow up here and then it kind of goes down into a teardrop shape. So that's the difference between these two. And this Anthurium Sirenoid Velvet seems to be easier with care, being that it holds onto a lot more leaves and it acclimated fairly quickly. It has a deep velvety texture, and I think that the veins start to come out more the more mature this plant gets. It does not have those signature veins that the Queen Antherium has, and that's kind of a downfall if you were to compare the two. But overall, I think that I can go ahead and miss out on that, being that this plant is a lot easier to care for. Another thing that I must say is that the Antherium Sirenoid Velvet is a bit more expensive than the Queen Antherium. Because right now, Ecuagenera is selling Queen Antheriums for $35, starting at $35 and up, depending on the size. So being that this Anthurium Sirenoid Velvet is a little bit more expensive, that is something to take into account. But hey, I've always been scared to get the Queen Anthurium because I don't want to look at battered up leaves. And with this one, I feel like I made the right choice because it's an import and I don't have any damaged leaves, even after acclimation. And I promise you, I don't give this one any type of special care. It stays in my plant room where it gets about 60% humidity consistently and medium light. But there's no reason I shouldn't take the chance on the Queen Anthurium now that the prices have dropped, especially with Ecuagenera. So we'll see what happens when it comes to that in the future. But overall, my pick is the Anthurium Sirenoid Velvet. But I mean, hey, I can't even front. The Queen Anthurium is definitely a beast. It's like unmistakable. And I might just have to go ahead and get me one in the near future. But here you have it, Anthurium Sirenoid Velvet. So that's all I got for you. Hope to show you more of my collection and let you know which one is my favorite plant between two different plants. And I also hope to have more special guests stop by. So until next time, everybody stay blessed. Aeroid District here, I'm out.